Bring me cheese. Now, it's time for a MiceTower review with HR, the house room. For centuries, man has been on a never-ending crusade to exterminate all of mousekind. Whether by feeding my brethren to their pets, or by building better mousetraps with which to slaughter mice in one gruesome manner or another. In 1963, Ideal Toys unleashed their better mousetrap on the world. Under the guise of a children's game, children roll dice and move mice along a fixed path collecting cheese, all the while building a Rube Goldberg device which they eventually trigger to trap other players' mice, where they are left to starve to death. Let's take a look. Players begin the game by placing their mice on the starting space. Then the player with the next birthday rolls a d6 and moves that many spaces down the path to death. Along the path to death are spaces that move you back or ahead, allow you to gain or lose cheese, or allow players to build a part of the trap. The build spaces are denoted by numbers that represent the number of players in the game. When a player's mouse lands on a space with a number that matches the number of players, they'll add a piece to the trap and collect a piece of cheese. But none of that matters, because after about 3 turns, any intelligent adult will be on the phone scheduling a root canal to avoid playing, and the average kid will have gotten bored and proceed to just building the trap. If, however, the players have the mentality of houseplants and manage to stay engaged long enough to reach the cheese wheel section on the path to death, players will continue to roll the die, attempting to land on the turn crank space. If another player's mouse is on the cheese wheel when this happens, then the current player will turn the crank to trigger the trap in an attempt to exterminate the other player's mouse, eliminating that player from the game. If there are no mice on the cheese wheel, the player may choose to spend 1 cheese wedge they collected during the game to force another player to roll the die, which may result in the selected player landing on the cheese wheel. If the trap fails to exterminate a mouse, the trap is reset and play continues with the next player. The game mercifully ends when all but 1 mouse is exterminated. That player is the winner, a horrible person, and will be racked with guilt till the end of their days. If it isn't abundantly clear by this point, I don't like this game. The theme is morbid, the gameplay all but non-existent, and it perpetuates social biases against mice. But it wouldn't be fair of me not to point out some of the positives of a game that somehow managed to stay in print for over 50 years. First, the plastic components used to build the trap are colorful and high quality. Second, the miniatures are detailed and a fun comical depiction of mice. And lastly, the game has cheese. You can never go wrong with cheese, right? Well, this cheese seems to be an afterthought, as the quality is horrible. While one side of the cheese pieces looks very appetizing, the other side looks like a moldy Kraft single, and probably just as nutritious. Okay, so the cheese pieces are more nutritious than a Kraft single, but that's not the point. The point is, if you're going to use cheese in your game, don't cheap out on the quality. So given the abundant negatives, I can't recommend this game to anyone. But parents, if you really insist on adding this to your collection of games for your children, I suggest you also purchase the Expert expansion. Now, could this thing really catch a mouse? Of course not. We mice are way too smart to fall for something so ridiculous. You'd have to get up pretty early in the morning to outsmart us mice. Most of the time, this dopey thing doesn't even finish running.
Ow, 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 my tail, get it off, get it off!
Not again. Squirrel, will you quit tormenting my nephew? Sorry, HR, but this contraption is just so dang much fun, it's hard to resist. MiceTower judgment, 1 yacked up Kraft single. Thanks so much for watching this MiceTower video. For more MiceTower videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe we'll make more of these. I'm Jordan the Squirrel, and you've been watching the MiceTower. The MiceTower game storage is subsidized by Cold Stuff in a Fridge, where you can find cold games because we've run out of space on our gaming shelves. Cold stuff in a fridge.
Where's my cheese?
Squirrel, what did you do with my cheese?